Hi, I'm Zach,
I'm Cameron.
and we are here today to teach you how to play Kingdom Builder, game by Donald X. Vaccarino.
Well, you're teaching, I'm learning. I've never played this before, so hopefully.
Well, you'll be the first person that I will be teaching today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is a 4 to 5 player game that is about 45 to 60 minutes. It's real easy to pick up. All of the rules are very simple, but the trick of it is that the way to win changes every time you play. Just like his other game, Dominion, if you've ever played that.
Oh, this is the same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
Wow.
So
That
you're
makes
going to lose
lots-
at this one too.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we've got the board set up here, and we'll cut to that and show you how to play.
Awesome.
So when you play this on Board Game Arena, you will get a random map that is made of 4 little sections here. You can see that here.
Yeah.
So you won't necessarily have to deal with assembling all of this. And you'll also get 3 goal cards, which will tell you the ways in which you can score points in the game. You start with 40 of these little housey houses. They're called settlements.
Yep.
And during the game, you're going to place them on the board in various hexes in an attempt to satisfy the 3 goals that have been picked for the game. But also, there's one goal that is always present, which is there on each of these boards, there is a castle. It's got a little fancy outline. You score 3 points for each castle that you have reached by having one of your settlements next to it. That's all you need to do.
Oh, so it's next to it.
Yeah, just next to it.
Okay. So multiple people can score.
Yeah, and you can try and cut people off and do weird things like that. So the core of the game and like the rules that you need to know before we introduce any of the weirdness is that when it's your turn, you're going to start with one of these terrain cards. They come from a deck that gets shuffled at the beginning of the game. And they can be one of various things. They can be grasslands, they can be forests, flower fields, canyons, deserts, etc. The mountains do not come up because they're relatively impassable.
Fair.
And the water is also impassable unless, and we'll explain why unless later.
All right.
Anyway, so on your turn, all you do is you take 3 of your houses and you place them onto the board in the terrain for the card that you have. So for example, if I started, I would place one here. Now, the other main rule is that whenever you place, if you can, you must place adjacent to one of your existing settlements.
All right.
So once I've placed that one, my next 2 have to be touching.
Gotcha. They have to be contiguous.
Yeah, they have to be contiguous. Now, if I eventually fill that space up, and then I have to place another grassland, I could start somewhere else.
Oh, so you have to play on this card.
Yeah. So if say on a next turn I get the flower fields, I would have to play here first because that's adjacent to the other ones.
Why would that change then?
Because there are also, if you see out here, apart from the castles, there are these special locations that have little tiles on them. There's 2 of these little markers on each tile. And once you get your settlements touching one of these locations, you pick that tile up, and now you get a special power every turn that is different based on which of these locations you pick up. Now you'll notice that there are only 2 tiles on each of these stacks, and there's only 2 locations on each of these boards. So you can't like pick up both of these tiles here, but you could end up picking one from each, and that means you would get this power twice in a turn.
Okay.
And the powers of change, they could be different every game. We'll give you, I'll give you examples of what these do and why they change the game.
All right.
But anyway, so you can basically go. One of the ways you can win is to go around the board and trying to get as many special powers as you can, which will make achieving the 3 goals and getting to the castles easier.
All right.
Okay.
How are you able to then get new cards to play in different areas?
Well, at the end of your turn, you simply draw a new terrain card.
Oh, so they're just random. You
Yeah.
could get the same terrain.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one random thing in the game, which can be frustrating at times, but can also be very helpful at other times, all depending on the powers that you have. Because the powers sometimes enable you to overcome strange and weird draws from the terrain deck.
Alright.
But the good thing is that you get to know what your card is. While everyone else is taking their turn, you can start thinking about what you're going to do. So there's very little downtime, because everyone knows going into their turn pretty much what's available.
Yeah.
So examples of some of the special powers here, like this like house bungalow thing here. What that one does is on your turn, before or after your mandatory placing 3,
Yeah.
you may place an additional settlement in the same terrain type as the one that you draw for the turn. So basically it gets you an extra placement.
Does it have to be adjacent?
It always has to be adjacent.
Okay, always.
Unless something tells you otherwise, it's
Alright.
always adjacent.
Fair enough.
And online, you can mouse over these powers, and it will tell you what they do. But the powers are optional. You don't have to do them, and you can choose to do them before or after your main action. Okay? So, for example, down here, this one allows you to place one additional settlement at the end of a row of 3. So basically, you could start stringing things along. Now notice that that one's not terrain limited. So you can start spreading into other terrains that way, which can get
So
you...
you could have 1, 2, 3, then put one here.
Yeah, so basically if you want to start stretching around. And you'll notice as you play and the board starts getting crowded that you can start playing denial games. There's some nasty tricks in this if you want to go that way.
Gotcha.
So down here is the Oasis, and that one's simple. It just lets you place an extra settlement on a desert. Again, must be adjacent if you can.
Gotcha.
And then up here, very similar to that, lets you place an extra settlement on a grassland. Again, must be adjacent if possible.
So that could help or hurt you next time around if you don't have a desert, then pull a desert next time you have to play there.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're probably asking yourself, well, some of these don't sound all that awesome. Wait until you see the goals that you have to get. So as I said before, you get 3 points at the end of the game for every one of the 4 castles that you touch with your houses, your settlements. So for example, down here we have Fisherman, which says 1 point for each of your settlements adjacent to water. So now you're going to be wanting to place next to water if you can. Merchants says 4 points for every location and or castle that you connect together in a network.
Interesting.
So basically that one's going to teach you to try and just reach out and touch everything.
Yeah.
And then Discover is the last one, is 1 point for each horizontal row that you have a settlement on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably around 20 points we're talking about.
Fair enough, yeah.
So basically, you're encouraged to build all the way down here. But anyway, those are only 3 of like about 12 different goals that you could draw in a single game. And so depending on which ones come out, that can dramatically change how you play and also how you approach the special powers, which will also be random.
Gotcha.
And this map also randomizes from a number of different boards. So every time you play, it's a completely different configuration, and you have to approach it a completely different way. But at the core, it's just placing things on a map. It's an area control game.
Placing houses.
Yep.
So I have these round pegs, I have these dudes, I have a boat, and I have a train. All right.
So those are expansion pieces, and I don't know if Board Game Arena will have them in time for Let's Get Digital, which is December 11th through the 13th.
Yeah.
But you don't really have to worry about those. The online interface takes care of everything, no mess, and everything cleans up just fine.
So it seems like, on the face anyway, it seems a simple game.
Yeah, it's very easy to get into. It's one of those easy to learn, lifetime to master kind of things where if you have experienced players, it can get pretty down and dirty, especially if you know what the powers are. And you can win without the powers, you just have to be very, very good at it.
Fun.
So I hope you've enjoyed that teaching of Kingdom Builder. Like I said, Let's Get Digital for MomoCon happens December 11th through the 13th, where we will be available online to teach you and play Kingdom Builder with you, as well as many other games. And we hope to see you there.
Yeah. See you then.
See you.